What's up, North County? I'm your host, Randy Doty, and today we are talking all things Templeton football with head coach Don Crow. Welcome.
Thanks. Glad to be here. We're fired up.
Yeah, so you've had a heck of a summer.
Right. We had a really good summer. Kids performed really well in our passing leagues and our lineman competitions, weight room. Yeah, probably one of the most productive summers we've ever had. And now we finished double sessions yesterday, so no more doubles. And we're ready to go to our scrimmage Friday night up at Soledad, and we're pretty excited to see where we're at.
So what are some of the big surprises, just finishing up, summer ball or, your conditioning and all that stuff? I mean, now you're coming into your first, real scrimmage. I mean, what are some of the big surprises that you've seen from last year to, right now?
Well, probably two of our biggest surprises have been, we knew he had the ability. He was just so young last year, playing all the time, was Weston Patch. But he's had a really good fall camp. Coming in double sessions, he's really, really improved, and he's doing a really good job. And then also another one of our surprises has been Bo Swan, because we moved him to a new position, and he's doing really well there. We're pretty excited about Bo. For the guys that have not played varsity much, well, Weston played some last year, but we've moved some guys around offensively to try to create better matchups for us, and we've moved River Waltmeyer to wing, and we've moved Colton Sabor to receiver to get a taller receiver, and they both had really good camps and really good summer. And River's bringing a speed element to our wings that we love to have. It really helps us.
How was, because you guys did a few 7-on-7 tournaments as well, right?
Correct. We did 2 tournaments and then 3 other what we call scrimmages, which were a lot more low-key, more coaching, and those went really well. The first day of the Tascadero tournament, we were undefeated. Then we came back on Saturday and played Buchanan and Tulare Union and some of those schools that are a little bit bigger than us.
Right.
And but we battled. The one thing we like about this group of kids is they battle.
Yeah.
They're not afraid to step on the field against those teams that have the big name and the big big ranking.
Well, Templeton's always been kind of known for that, to where I mean, you guys have always battled. Templeton's always been there's not a lot of beef. You know what I mean?
Right. So, and then we went to Rio Grande, and we played some of the better schools and some of the really schools that, as we kid around, major in 7-7 because they throw it. They're going to throw the ball 40 times a game. And we played Hanford and Mission Oak and got in and hung with them really well. I mean, our game with Hanford was for lack of a very high level 7-on-7 game. There was a couple of interceptions. There was a lot of touchdowns. There was people making a lot of plays, and it was. If you were just a fan of football, it had to be pretty fun to watch because there were some athletes making some plays.
And what I always like about, like I said, with the 7-on-7, you get to play these top schools that are top contenders in their divisions, in their leagues.
Right.
And there's a lot of these kids that are like D1 prospects.
Correct. So when we played Hanford, their tailback and quarterback are both Division I offers. Their tailback's probably got 13 or 14. He's a senior, so he'll go, and then our quarterback's a junior. He's a Division I guy. And we had a couple picks against him and played well. Then we played Buchanan, their inside linebacker, who's about 6'3", about 220. He's going to go to Fresno State. He's already committed, and he's a man. I mean, you just look out there and you go, well, we don't have anybody that looks like him, right? And then but our kids got a phenomenal compliment from the Buchanan coach. He goes, first thing he says, your kids obviously know where the weight room is. Your kids look really good. And he goes, you're not a D5 team. He goes, you're athletically better than that. I go, well, thank you, but that's great. Hopefully we play that way.
Right.
But they got noticed that we had a good summer.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And that's cool to get that recognition from those type of coaches.
Yeah, because like I said, we tell our kids all the time, it's hard to play football at Templeton because we practice it. We lift in the mornings, and we don't get a athletic period during the day, and a lot of the schools have other things. But I said our kids do get some good stuff. Mm-hmm. We have great administrative support, and they do what they can for us. But they have to do some stuff on their own, like get up early and be there, and that pays off for us in the long run. I think it builds a lot of esprit de corps in the team. It builds a lot of camaraderie in our team, and it pays off in the end for us.
And how many seniors or juniors are coming back this year?
Be seniors, we're at 17 returning starters.
17 returning starters.
That includes the one, the freshman tackles, There were freshmen last year that started some, but yeah, we have 9 on defense back and 8 on offense.
And you have depth pretty much in a lot of those positions, huh?
Yeah, we have the biggest team, I think, in the 20 years I've been at Templeton. It's the biggest as far as numbers. It's the big. We have over 50 kids playing varsity football.
Wow, that's great.
Which is pretty. That's a lot for us. I mean, the last few years we've been in our 30s. So, and like we were talking before we started filming, we have our junior and sophomore class have a lot of numbers. They're some of the bigger classes the school's had in a long time. So that's really helped because we got a lot of kids playing in those classes.
And so what are some of the like Johnny Pashang had an amazing season last year.
And he's worked really hard. He's put on about 15 pounds, and he hasn't lost any speed. And he's had those kids, him and Aiden Wall and Colton, Sabora, and Cohen Sizemore that were all league last year. We expect them to be our guys, and they've certainly filled the bill. When you watch us practice, there's certainly the guys that are the leaders and the guys that are, the best players. And then Anthony at quarterback, Chavez, Mr. Heart of Lion, he's improved, and he really threw the ball well this summer. And we know that we have to throw the ball better in games. I mean, it's no shock that people in the stands have to yell at us, throw the ball, right? We know we got to get better at it. So we spend a lot of time developing our own passing game and expanding it into things Anthony can really do, like rolling him out, booting him out, simple reads, getting the ball off, getting it out quick, getting it to our guys' hands, and letting them play. And we were pretty successful at it. And so we'll find out a whole lot more tomorrow night at Soledad, but against Live Bullets. But yeah, we're very excited about where we're at. And
he's not your typical quarterback.
No,
anything.
No, the only thing he's typical quarterback is he's a great leader, and he's a super hard worker, and he's tougher than nails.
Yeah.
But other than that, he's not what you would call kind of throws the ball sidearm, kind of has funky footwork, kind of wants to run with it, which is great with us. And we've put in some quarterback runs just for him. And he wills. He's one of those guys that wills himself and his own teammates to be better.
Oh, well, you mentioned a lot of the kids. So like I said, I'm involved with the youth program. So Chavez, Wall, Pashang, some of those guys came out and ran our first week of conditioning practice.
Right, I heard you were out there helping.
Yeah, and it was really awesome because again, I didn't give them any direction. I just said, hey, you guys, this is your show. You guys are the coaches this week, and I think they had a really good time with it.
Right, and then like it was funny. The kids were telling me that when Aiden Wall was in 8th grade, he played corner. Right, and then he had this big growth spurt. Now he's a center and defensive lineman. He's an all-league lineman, right?
Well, it's funny. I was talking to Joanne last week because literally I haven't seen Aiden in a couple of years, since like during the COVID, period, right? And so they came there the first day, and I'm like, I was talking to Chavez, and I'm like, hey, I said, well, what happened to Wall? I thought he was coming, and he's like, Coach, he's right there. And I go, wow. I'm like, you completely changed. I mean, grew. I mean, everything from the last time I physically saw him.
So and then Cohen Sizemore has probably grown 7 inches since 8th grade, at least 6.
Oh yeah.
And weighs almost 200 pounds now, and yeah, he's completely different looking than when he first walked on that campus as a freshman.
It's crazy how they just make that change, even from year to year.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's grown a lot since last year, and we've kids grow in high school. We know that, and we want them to work out and get as strong and as big as they possibly can.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So, Coach, tell me about your auction. You guys just had the auction. How did that go for you?
Really, really well. Last Saturday we had our auction at McPhee's and our yearly fundraiser. It's our biggest fundraiser, and we wound up having sold more tickets than we did last year. And it was a little slow start. We know because it was a week earlier, and there was a lot of reasons why we moved it up a week. There's another big fundraiser this weekend for cancer research and some things. And we couldn't go back a week because that's when we'd be playing in Idaho, so we couldn't do it that Saturday. So we moved it up a week, and we had some people that it was deer season, and we had some people taking their kids to college, and there was a lot of obstacles we had to navigate. But in the end, we had more people there than we had last year. We raised a little bit more money we did last year by a little bit. And so we had another record year of that, and it's awesome. Our community is flipping amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, they will when the auctioneer steps up, they open up their hearts and their checkbooks, and it's great. And I tell people all the time to run a first class high school football program where the coaches all get some pay and we get the right equipment and we can travel. Okay, when we go out of the area, we can take a charter bus and feed the kids on the road and buy the best helmets and buy the best shoulder pads and give them shirts and T-shirts they don't have to buy. Just so they can have, in my eyes, almost what's expected, because we ask so much of them, and our people step up and make it happen.
Right.
I have coaches from all over the area, not just our area, but the valley now are calling. How do you guys do it? How do you raise so much money? I go, well, it's our community. I mean, I'm no special fundraiser. I'm not BT Barnum, right? BT Barnum. I just, we have people that care. We have parents that care, but we also have community members that don't have kids playing that will sponsor and donate, like Mid-State Waste. Sponsored came to it. Waste Management, who doesn't really is coming into our area, sponsored. And we have another family has no kids playing. They sponsored, because they truly see it as community's team, the community's team.
Yeah, and it's really about that experience as well. Your kids, ties and they dress, just dress respectable.
Right. And I talked to a gentleman this morning who does have a kid on our team. He's a senior. He's leaving. We talked about the future of our fundraising, and he goes, I played there. My son's now played there. My brothers have played there, and we sold for one game this year where you get your name on both 25-yard lines for sponsoring a game. And he goes, you should try to do that for the whole season. I said, we tried. He goes, well, and he threw around some ideas. He goes, not only is it great for my business, but he goes, I played down that. I didn't play on that field. He played at Jack Allen. But he goes, I played there. So it's, have my name painted on the field for a couple games is pretty cool. I said, yeah. I said, that's what, he goes, it's great exposure for your business, no doubt.
Right.
But it's also a name that people know that, hey, there's 3 brothers played here. Now their sons have all played here and nephews. And so it is pretty cool.
Now, you guys are offering that, or is that?
We offered it. We sold it for we sold it for one game this year to see how it went.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a person who has a senior on our team bought it, and so we have a thing called a turf tank that is computerized that paints our field.
Right.
So they'll put their logo in it, and then that thing will paint it on.
That's a great idea, actually.
Yeah. And where the idea came from, when you go down and play in Santa Maria, those turf fields are sponsored by one of them's Dignity Health, and that's on because that stays on a long time because it's a turf field, right?
Right. Shumash.
Yeah, Shumash does
San Ynez.
Right. So I go to Coach Farrell. I go to Joe. I go, we can sell that, and we can change it because we can paint over it with green, or once it wears off a little bit. So we tried to sell the whole season, but it didn't quite work out. So we sold one game, and it went for a pretty good amount of money. And so we were already talking about how do we either sell the whole season or sell more than one game next year. We're in the process of doing that.
That's a great idea.
Oh, it was awesome.
Yeah, and I think again, it shows with all the sponsors that's going around. The
Right.
fence lines. I mean,
I sell the boosters sell probably 50, 60 signs, and a lot of those people don't have kids that play there.
Yeah.
But it's business exposure, number one. But number two, it is kind of cool to have your name on the field.
Of course. Absolutely.
Right? Because it's Mike Herb Field. We're not going to ever, obviously their family and Wendy, they're just flipping amazing. They do our stats, and it's Mike Herb Field. Mm-hmm. We have the big sign as you walk in, right? Mike Herb Field and Volunteer Stadium. But, and that, I don't know if you've ever noticed, but as soon as you walk in by the flagpole, there's a big giant sign, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And that's permanent, and it's still going to always be Mike Herb Field. But, you see a lot of places have game sponsors.
Yeah.
So it's a single game sponsorship.
Very cool.
And it's pretty cool.
So one thing I noticed because I went up and watched the scrimmage, you guys are running the Guardians.
Oh, that's that.
And that's new this year, right?
Right. So the Guardian is a black helmet cover. On the one picture that was on there, you can see our kids wearing it.
Right.
And talked to the guy off and on. He wanted to sell them, and they're expensive. We wear a different version of it in 7-on-7. That's the green ones for 7-on-7, but it covers our helmets. So he said Morro Bay and Mission did it last year. So I talked to the Morro Bay's trainer, who used to be our trainer, and I talked to there's a picture of him, and I talked to the Mission coaches, and they love them. And neither coach could say anything close, except for they're a little expensive.
Yeah.
But he said he goes, like Morbay said, I think we had one concussion all season. I'm like, pfft, well, what is that worth?
But you're not going to, those aren't for game. Those are for
we're going
practice.
on tomorrow night, though.
Okay.
But no, in games we don't wear them because we have our stickers. But so we've worn them every day since we started. They're not cheap. When we got the bid, originally we were going to get them for the varsity, and then we talked. The JVs have the same issue, so we bought 110 of those things.
Wow.
So every JV player and every varsity player has one.
That's awesome.
And they're.
And that's where those fundraisers, like you just did,
that's $6,000.
Yeah, comes into play.
Yeah, the guy gave us a 15 or 20% deal because normally they're 75, but we bought so many that he gave us a deal. And they're super easy. They have 4 straps in the front that go around the face mask, and then they Velcro in the back so they can fit different size helmets. The kids can put them on and off in 2 minutes, tops, because we put all their helmet sticker decals on the other night. So they took them off, we put the decals on, they put them back on the next morning. So yeah.
What's the longevity of them? Is it just one season,
No,
they
last.
Is there any type of inspections that they have to go through like a helmet would?
No, they're just. But we figure they'll get 2 or 3 years use out of each one.
Wow, that's great.
I mean, one might rip, and we originally were going. And you can get them the color of your helmet, but they didn't make. They do make white, but I go, God, on grass stains, and they're going to get dirty and dingy. So I asked him if they made dark green. He said, yeah, it's a special order, so they're more. I said, just send us black.
Right.
So that's fine.
And, Coach, I think that's a real good, part of a successful program is the purpose and the part of getting the best equipment for the kids.
Well, and it's a safety issue. We know that. And so those things are mandated by the NFL. Every NFL team has to wear those in practice.
Really?
So then we visited Fresno State and Cal Poly and San Jose, and you visit all those schools, they're all wearing them in practice. Everybody's wearing them in practice in college that I saw. And, and in spring ball. So, if that money prevents one concussion, it's worth every dime.
Absolutely.
I think. I mean, sure, that's a kind of an odd way to look at it, but you have to think safety first.
Mm-hmm.
So, like talking about the helmets, right? So we get Rydell and Shud helmets, and we buy their top line, what's called a Speed Flex helmets, and we buy a F7 Shud. Well, those were $400 a piece last year. Well, they all went up.
Mm-hmm.
They're over $500 now. So we bought 23 of those helmets, 23 brand new helmets last year. Number one, because our numbers were up. Number two, because they said, hey, the price is going up, jump on them now. And then Rydell makes one more helmet, supposedly better, but it's a custom fit helmet. They send you this thing the kids put on. It's like a cap. It's like a skull
Like a
cap.
mold type deal?
Yeah, and it goes across, and then you film it. You actually take a picture with an app, and then you write these numbers down. Well, that's great. It's $750 for the helmet, and that kid wears it. What do we do when he graduates?
Right.
Unless you have another kid, its head is like that. So
Yeah.
I'm okay if the kids want to buy one of those and keep them, but we can't spend $750 for one kid to wear it 1 or 2 years. That's just, no school has that kind of money.
Yeah.
So we get their Speed Flexes, which is the same shell. The inside, the only thing that's different is on the inside, but the shell's the same.
But they're still top of the line.
Oh,
They're
yeah, it's
rated
the
number
highest
one
rated helmet. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we don't buy anything cheap. We buy some really nice shoulder pads. Like I said, we figure that when a kid comes to Templeton football, when we give him all his gear, including his game stuff, it's over $1,000 a player.
Yeah.
Now, it's not $1,000 every year, but every kid gets more than $1,000 worth of equipment from us.
That's great.
Yeah, and what's the price tag on as much being as safe as we can be?
Sure. Well, it's your players out there. You
Yeah.
want them to be safe, and you want the parents to feel their child safe playing a game.
Right, and that's a big deal in this day. I don't care if you're riding a dirt bike or on your skateboard or your e-bike or playing football or playing whatever your sport is. We got to try to be as safe as we can.
Mm-hmm. So we got the scrimmage this week, and then next week you guys fly to Idaho.
Yeah.
So what's the buzz on that? I mean, I bet everybody's excited.
And we don't want to put the cart before the horse, because tomorrow night we have Soledad, King City, Greenfield, and Gonzales. We scrimmage each one of those for 30 minutes. It's like just a jamboree thing. So we want to put our best foot forward tomorrow night. But then next Saturday we play Sugar Salem High School, and they're going to be a handful, right? They've won a lot of state championships, and they do a really good job, and they're super well coached. And they have a game tomorrow night, so we'll trade that film with our scrimmage. They were good with that, and so we're very excited.
And obviously, this is the first time Templeton, or any school for that matter, that I know of around here has done something like this.
I mean, they might have snuck out of state to, I don't know if anybody's ever played in Las Vegas, but I go to LA and Sacramento. But yeah, definitely getting on a charter plane and flying is.
I mean, what a great experience for the kids.
And we're like I've said before, we're treating it just like a college trip. We're, fly in, load the charter buses, go eat, rest a little bit, go to practice. The Wall family has a relative that lives there in Pocatello, Idaho, and they're going to feed the team.
Awesome.
Then back to the hotel. We have our own banquet room set up for walkthroughs and meals, and and then fly home after the game.
So are you gonna pull out all your guns next? I mean, is this to win? I mean, is there something to win, or is it just?
Well, it's called the Rocky Mountain Rumble, but for us, it's a chance to line up a team from California and a team from Idaho that are in basically same size schools. They're like 650 and we're like 730, so we're basically the same size schools. They're super successful. And we'll see where we're at. We'll get to measure ourselves against another state, against another school our size that wins a ton of games. Well, it's on. I mean, we're going to give it our very best shot.
Is there any rule differences between?
Not really. Well, the only rule difference they have is their officials do like college. They have a guy, instead of having a guy behind the defense, what's called the umpire, he's behind the offense, like the NFL does.
Okay.
They have two guys stand behind the offense instead of one behind offense and one behind the defense. We were watching on film. That's the only rule difference I can see.
So there's no ball carry.
Well, like if you go to Texas, the Texas high schools play college rules.
Okay.
So the different hash marks, different everything. You can cut block. They play the Texas high schools play college rules, but Idaho doesn't. They play like ours, other than where the officials line up. So
you could be bringing back the Rocky Mountain Royal Trophy.
There's 8 games, and because they do it by different sizes of schools. So this is the 3A game.
And so with all these different schools coming in, did it just so happen that you drew playing the Idaho team?
Right.
Or?
No, it's 8 Idaho schools play 8 out-of-state schools.
Gotcha. Okay.
So we were originally going to play Minico, who's a school a little bit bigger than us, but the team that Sugar Sand was going to play backed out. So we were the next closest in size, so they readjusted around.
Gotcha. So everybody's coming in from different parts of the country.
They're coming in from California, Utah, Montana, and Canada.
Awesome.
Coming into play.
Exciting. Are you excited?
Oh yeah.
I mean, you got to be just like the kids. I'm excited about
tomorrow night because I want to see us. I've never seen a football team in more need of hitting somebody from another school than our team ever, and that's because of our experience level. These kids have played together a long time, so we go to practice some days and they're like, we need to go against somebody else and see something different, and that's going to be very excited tomorrow night. Yeah, so JV's at 4:30, we're at 7, we go at 7, 7:35, then 35 minutes later. Yeah, every 35 minutes we change.
And it's a well-oiled program
because they've got this thing down, right? They've been doing it for years, and they know what they're doing. When we were just kind of the new cog in it last year, and it worked out great. I thought it was great for our team. It's going to be really good for us tomorrow night.
And then, Coach, one last question. What's the projection for the season?
We're going to have a good football team. Where that all falls, because I look at our league. Of course, we look at our league number 1. Okay, so we play Santa Maria first. Well, Santa Maria had us down in the fourth quarter last year. The next week they were up 24-7 on Atascadero, and they beat Pioneer Valley. So the 3 teams that were still playing at the end for our league, Santa Maria had every shot to beat them all, and they have a really good receiver and their quarterback's back, and they're going to be a handful. Then we play Cabrillo on a Thursday night. Then we come home and get the team down south, and then we play Pioneer Valley, down there. They beat us twice last year. Then we get Morro Bay and Slow at home. So, it's our league is. I'm telling you, there's 6 teams could win our league.
Well, and not to mention, you play the state champion.
Right. So we
Tascadero too.
They come to our place for the first time ever for a game. They've been there to scrimmage, but they've never played a game at Templeton. So super, on August.
That's gonna be a wild.
The first Friday in October. Yeah, get there early.
Right. You're gonna have to, because Tascadero's gonna fill those stands.
Oh yeah, we filled it down there last year. So and they're a lot bigger stadium than we are. So it's gonna be a very fun, exciting atmosphere.
Local rivalry.
Oh,
it's gonna be awesome.
They're really the closest school to us. Their high school is actually closer to our school than Paso Robles is to the schools. So yeah, that's the closest high school to us, and It's exciting. And they've got 4 or 5 people in their staff who used to coach at Templeton, and a couple of us used to coach at Atascadero. So and one thing that's very true about this one's a respect rivalry. Both schools respect each other. Both coaching staffs respect each other. This one's not some cheap, dirty throwing punches. This one's all about respect and representing your school and playing against a school that's very close to you and playing for pride.
Awesome. Well, like I said last time, Lori's going to have to make up a new trophy, so that way
we'll see how that one goes.
Share that one between.
Yes.
Awesome.
It's fun.
Coach.
Thanks, Randy. Yep. Glad to be here.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much. Wish you all the luck this Friday, next Saturday in Idaho, and looking forward to the season.
Yep. Go Eagles, man. Come support us.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Well, there you have it, guys. Thanks for tuning in to What's Up North County and our time with Coach Crow and the Templeton Eagles, guys. Make sure you guys do not miss a Friday night here in Templeton because it's going to be spectacular.
Our game at Idaho will be live streamed.
Okay,
we
nice.
Found out. It's idahosports.com. Sorry about that.
No problem.
At the finish. It's idahosports.com. Our game will be live streamed. It'll be noon. It'll be at 12 noon California time. We play at 1 o'clock there, but there's a time change. So 12 noon California time on the 26th, idahosports.com. And I've been told that when you go to that website, it says we're from Utah.
Oh, really?
It says Templeton, Utah. But we're trying to get that changed, but that's us.
All right.
Against Sugar Salem.
Root on Templeton, Utah.
Yeah, whatever. Templeton Eagles fly.
Utah Eagles.
Yep. That's
there
us.
you go. Well, good luck, Coach.
Thank you.
Well, there you have it, guys. Thanks for tuning in. And as always, we cannot do this without our sponsors, Escalar Wines, Wine Travelers Hideaway, Rancho Sestero Meat Cutting, Visit Atascadero, 805 Customs, Hanson Enterprises, El Red Rooster, Pacific 805 Spas, Story Termite and Pest Control, Paso Robles Furniture, 5-Star Rain Gutter, Airflow Filter Services, Borhone Auto Center, Kennedy Club Fitness, and Amy and Jamie's Place. Thanks again. We'll see you Friday night.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go!
Veux-tu danser avec moi?
Hi, welcome to Kennedy Club Fitness, where we have something for everyone. We have weights, cardio, group exercise classes, racquetball, basketball, swimming, and pickleball coming soon. Here at Kennedy, we're committed to health, wellness, and community. Stop by any of our 4 locations: Paso Robles, Atascadero, San Luis Obispo, and Arroyo Grande, or check out our website at kennedyclubs.com.
We don't just serve it up, we roast it, distill it, brew it, craft it, crank it, bake it, make it, perfect it, cure it, paint it, live it, breathe it, and then we serve it up, all in Atascadero.
Hi, this is Dave Story, small game hunter with Story Termite and Pest. We're a full-service termite and pest control company. From rodents to termites, we can take care of all your pest control needs. Call today. We can tailor a pest control program that will meet your needs and budget. Contact us at 805-460-0650 or at storytermite.com. Remember, we don't have